Welcome in, welcome in. We are back with my number 6 team on my NFL power rankings for their season preview, and that will be the Buffalo Bills, the defending AFC East champions. This is a very fascinating team that feels like its team direction is Operation Get Josh Allen a defense. And we'll talk about this during the offseason review, but a lot of their assets were poured into, hey, we know Josh Allen can handle things on the offense because he has a good offensive line. He's got James Cook over there as well. We feel okay about where the weapons are at. Let's go ahead and invest in what this defense looks like and try and secure that side of the ball. And so now we move on to a Buffalo Bills season that once again ended in a little bit of playoff heartbreak. And now we're trying to get over that hump into the last game of the season in February. And so with that, the team direction set out there, I want to give out the grades as far as Sean McDermott, who I think is a solid head coach, a good head coach. I give him a B grade, just kind of flat out. I think he's good enough as far as defense, and I think he finds a floor for this defense to at least be middle of the pack, if not better. And I think the leadership is good enough. I think it could be better. Some of the in-game decisions can leave you scratching your head at times, but ultimately, I think he's a good enough head coach from that perspective, and a good one. I shouldn't say good enough, a good head coach in the National Football League, Sean McDermott. And then this front office, I think it's a B plus. I think they've done a good job at being able to put pieces around not only Josh Allen but the rest of this team. Again, the way that they built this offensive line is very impressive. I think they did the right thing as far as investing properly in the defense as well. Previously they had brought in a lot of veterans on that defense to be able to build up what that looked like, especially for Josh Allen on his on his rookie contract. Things kind of got a little shaky in their transition out there. They took a big swing on Von Miller that didn't end up working out, but still, this team has drafted well enough to continue to have enough talent to stay at or near the top of AFC, I should say specifically. So that's my grade for both of those. Let's go ahead and get to the offseason review. So as far as this Bills offseason review, as far as the subtractions that they ended up losing, Amari Cooper came in, tried to give him a little bit of outside presence as far as a wide receiver core was concerned. The veteran didn't necessarily work out to the greatest level. Mac Hollins had his moments, again, blocking wide receiver who moves on to New England. Von Miller swing and a miss as far as the massive contract, never really lived up to that, especially in the biggest moments as well. He moves on. Jordan Phillips along the defensive line also moves on. Rasul Douglas out of the cornerback room, as is Kyrie Elam, first round pick that ended up not working out all that well. Had his fair share of struggles here in Buffalo as well. As far as the additions, Joey Bosa comes over on a prove-it deal over from the Chargers. Obviously had his injury issues, a little bit of fall off as well. Going to be interesting to see if he can add something to the defensive end room that Von Miller couldn't. Joshua Palmer also comes over from the Chargers to add to this wide receiver room, a deep threat guy that could do a little bit of other stuff as well. Larry Ogunjobi adding to the offensive line room. Michael Hoyt coming over from the Rams to be a veteran defensive end presence, a really smart player as well. And then Kendrick Green coming over from the Houston Texans and their disaster in offensive line last year to add some depth to what this Bills offensive line looks like. And then as far as the draft is concerned, Maxwell Harrison, incredibly fast cornerback out of Kentucky. Not my favorite cornerback prospect, but certainly worthy at least of a day 2 pick. They ended up taking him in the first round. Currently hurt, so going to miss at least the first week of the season, it appears. TJ Sanders, interesting defensive line prospect, inside out versatility, certainly some gap shooting and pass rush juice to his game. Landon Jackson, hustle edge that plays with a lot of power out of Arkansas. Going to be on the watch for him. We'll talk about him a little bit later. And Deion Walker, a big, large mountain of a man. Deion Walker is a large individual, and given the fact that Dwayne Carter is going to miss the entirety of the season, he's going to be asked to step up in the interior of this defense as well. Jordan Hancock coming over to be able to add to the other side of the ball. Jordan Hancock coming over to add to the free safety position as well. And then Chase Lund out of UConn, developmental tackle to, again, add to what the depth of this offensive line is going to look like. So with that offseason review, as far as the expectations for this team, it's what it has been really for the past 4 or 5 years at this point. Get to the playoffs, win the Super Bowl. That is the expectation, to bring the first Lombardi Trophy to the Buffalo Bills organization. They have been trying and knocking on that door, multiple AFC Championship game appearances, obviously multiple division round losses at this point. Can they get over that hump is a big question. And ultimately the expectation is that they will get it, as, is the where you place the bar when you have Josh Allen on your team, the reigning MVP. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about him. So while there was a lot of talk about Josh Allen as far as MVP race was concerned, about him and Lamar Jackson specifically, I think one thing that truly made him worthy, at least of the award, even if he necessarily wouldn't have been my pick personally, the ability to mitigate, the pressure that he was feeling and not have those turn into some disaster plays. He still had a little bit of not necessarily the sack taking element because he did a great job at being able to limit that part of it, but he still was prone to a lot of turnovers earlier in his career, and obviously continued to lessen that over time. And I think last year was a real step in development and making sure that his decision making was top notch in those aspects, in those moments when, even when pressure was put on, and specifically this Bills offensive line didn't allow a lot, the ability obviously to extend the play has always been there for Josh Allen, but he made the smart decisions on a consistent basis, more consistent basis, I'll say, than any other time in his career as well. And that's why I think he was at least worthy of the MVP award, even if I necessarily wouldn't have picked him. And these are some of the decisions I'm talking about where he is able to throw touchdowns while extending the play and under pressure. And the arm talent is special. The ball placement is really good, and he's honestly a massive outlier in terms of accuracy improvement. And again, the advantage that he brings with the legs is spectacular as far as that is concerned too. So shout out to Josh Allen, certainly well deserved MVP. Shout out to him, and ultimately, he will be the third best quarterback in the National Football League according to my own rankings as well. And look, you can't go wrong with picking him. And obviously, every single time that he is under center for the Bills, they got a chance to win. So with that being said, let's get to the roster around Josh Allen. So as far as this offensive roster around Josh Allen, I feel like they've done a really good job at establishing the trenches. And again, Connor McGovern, good center. Science Torres really stepped up. His rookie year specifically had some struggles. Last year, I thought as a sophomore, really did take some real strides at the right guard position. David Edwards, solid at that position as well. Spencer Brown, really good at right tackle, continued to develop well as a third round pick. And then Deion Dawkins has been a real success story in what he's been able to become as a left tackle as well. One of the better left tackles in the National Football League, point blank period. Deion Dawkins, one of the better left tackles in the National Football League, somebody that you should consider a little bit for all pro selection in the future. We'll see if it ends up happening, but certainly one of the better guys protecting Josh Allen's blind side as well. Speaking of which, Josh Allen does headline the quarterback position with Mitchell Trubisky right behind him. And then as far as the running back room, an interesting combination of Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. Both guys did have their moments in the playoffs, which is something to take note of, but James Cook is the leader here. Obviously had he had an outlier touchdown production season as far as that's concerned, but this team is so good rushing the football, it's not like it would be insane to see him repeat that level of success as well, because of how much they do go on the ground and how much they're going to continue to use him near the goal line as well. And you will expect them to continue to have those trips. They use Reggie Gillum as well for what they want to do at the fullback position. They get into some 21 and be able to try and bully some teams as well. Tight end, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, a solid 1-2 punch at the tight end position. Still waiting for Kincaid to try and justify that first round pick of being a weapon really at the tight end position that you can hang your hat on as well. Something to watch from that standpoint too. They also like to throw out Alec Anderson in some 6 offensive line heavy jumbo sets. That's something to watch out as well. And then as far as the wide receiver is concerned, Khalil Shakir, kind of steady slot option for this team. Joshua Palmer, like I said, coming over from the Chargers, be a little bit deep threat and bring a little bit other versatility. Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore, depth at the position. And then it's KEON Coleman, second round pick a year ago out of Florida State as well. Can he really take a breakout next step is going to be a big piece of what this offense looks like, ultimately earning a B grade from me from everything around it. And I think that Josh Allen really does a lot to elevate things from a weapons perspective. Now, can he get a little bit of help from development there is going to be a question mark. This offensive line truly is a hallmark and a backbone for what they provide in the run game and protection in time for Josh Allen to do his thing too. So with that being said, let's get to the defense. So as I alluded to before, this defense has had significant investments specifically from the rookie side as far as their draft picks are concerned, but also added a few veterans here or there as well. Gregory Rousseau got a brand new extension, being able to play very well off the edge for these guys. AJ Epinesa, useful, depth there. Again, Jerry Bosa coming over from the Chargers on a proven contract. Landon Jackson as well, backing up him. How that rotation ends up working out is going to be fascinating. Can the rookie step up? Can Bosa have himself a bounce back year? Daquan Jones, really good nose stuffer, a nose tackle, run stuffer type. And then Deion Walker right behind him, kind of filling in that role effectively. And then that pairs well with Ed Oliver, who is more of the gap shooter, kind of lighter, three tech, prototype as far as that is concerned. Not a great one, but a solid one in that rotation. TJ Sanders right behind him as far as being able to provide depth at that position too. And then linebackers, Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano, solid coverage. A little bit, left to be desired as far as being able to be run defense, but certainly both those guys can cover the pass, which is important. And then as far as the secondary is concerned, Teron Johnson, one of the better nickel defenders in the National Football League. The cornerback position is a little bit in flux. Christian Benford is a good corner, no doubt about it as well. Trey White is back after really just falling off since he ended up getting hurt, unfortunately, and he's just never been the same. And so he's back from Baltimore after trying to prove himself in a few different stops. And can he reclaim his own form in here back in Buffalo and with the Bills? It's going to be a question mark. They got Dorian Strong kind of behind him and Jamarcus Ingram if they want to try and see what the depth kind of looks like. It's going to be a question mark as well. And then the safety room is a question mark as well. They asked Cole Bishop to kind of step up. I thought he tried his best. They brought back Taylor Rapp, ultimately as a veteran guy to try and help out this room. And then DeMar Hamlin has had his own struggles as well. So we'll talk about the safety room in a bit. But this defense, in my opinion, certainly has some interesting question marks, specifically at corner, definitely at safety. Can they get real improvement or some veteran guys stepping up as far as a guy like Joey Bosa? Or are they going to rely upon the rookies really to step in immediately and make an impact? It's going to be something to watch. I gave it a B as well as far as what this defense looks like. And I think Sean McDermott will set the floor, and then these other guys will determine what the ceiling is based on their own individual play. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the breakout. So my breakout here comes in. It's going to feel like a little bit by default, but I think that they really need KEON Coleman to step up here. I liked him as a day two prospect. Again, that true outside the numbers ball winner type. Can they get a little bit of world versatility, use him as a power slot? It's going to be a question mark as well. He's not a great separator, but Josh Allen has the ability with his accuracy and ball placement and arm strength that if you get on the right timing with him, then you can have the ability to put the ball where only KEON Coleman can get it. And use his body to kind of box out cornerbacks. And that's where he excels. And you'll see it certainly as the game at this goal line fade, in which he's going to end up dunking on Tariq Woolen, one of the better corners in the National Football League, because of that physicality that he brings to the table and his ability to high point the football. If he continues to bring those skills and makes him more consistent, and then he really does earn the trust from Josh Allen and being able to take advantage of those things, then you're talking about a guy that can really be dangerous in this offense. And really, I think that he has by far the best chance of being able to step up and being that primary weapon. So KEON Coleman is my breakout player, partially because I think that he is really the best best option on the offense to be able to have a true breakout year for Josh Allen to trust. With that being said, let's get to what's got me excited for this team. So I could have put a lot of different guys here as far as what's got me excited because they do represent differently, but it is really about who steps up on this defensive line. And I do lean a little bit more towards the young guys. If Joey Bosa does it, then, tip of the cap as far as that's concerned. But Deion Walker, TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson. I like TJ Sanders a lot because of what he brings as far as his versatility is concerned. I like Landon Jackson a lot because of the power that he plays with, the motor that he brings to the table out of Arkansas. I think that Landon Jackson is probably going to be the most likely candidate. He does not have the highest draft pick. That was TJ Sanders on day two. As a second round pick, Landon was the third round pick. I really do think that there's opportunity for Landon to be a starting edge opposite of Gregory Rousseau and show out. So that's why I chose Landon Jackson. But really, any of these defensive linemen stepping up is the thing that I'm going to be excited about watching for the 2025 Buffalo Bills. With that being said, let's get to my concern. My concern does, in fact, lie with the safety room. And I do have DeMar Hamlin here on the screen, not for any other reason than he was kind of the poster child for the struggles that they had. DeMar is obviously a great story, given the fact of everything that he came back from. And thank God that he is still here, of course. But the issues and struggles that he has and limitations of the player are evident within the back end of his defense. He's a good special teams guy, but the reality situation is he's not good in man coverage. He has significant struggles as far as that is concerned. He is not great as far as covering side to sideline on the back end and being able to really understand how to take away angles for quarterbacks to get the ball down the field. He can get fooled easily as far as quarterbacks shifting their eyes and reading out coverages as well. As far as a force player, he's not a guy that can come down in the box and really create havoc. He's all right as far as that's concerned, but it's not a strong suit, I would say. There are a lot of issues with his safety ability, and ultimately that applies to the entirety of the safety room. Again, they wanted to see a little bit more development from the rookie Cole Bishop. I thought he was their best safety last year, but that was a low bar to clear. And they brought back Taylor Rapp to try and add a veteran to this room too. So can they get Rapp and Bishop to combined to give you better safety play than happened last year? Certainly possible. Obviously, Cole Bishop himself, a second-round pick, and I expect to be better. But that safety room is really a concern, and they became a real hole last year that teams were attacking on a consistent basis. If that happens again, and there's no real, kind of investment outside of Jordan Hancock, there are going to be real questions about the way in which they've tried to build this safety room. So that's my concern. Let's go ahead and get to my hot take. So my hot take involves these three guys, and it's not the one that you think. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they represent, of course, the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens, who have consistently been at the top of the AFC the last few years. And my hot take right now is, as it stands, that because of everything that Josh Allen, offensive line, and the coach really do to elevate this team, I feel like the Bills have kind of fallen behind as far as what the rosters look like compared to the Chiefs and compared to the Ravens as far as on paper. I think the Ravens have a better roster. I think the Chiefs have a better roster as well. And the difference really is that puts them a half tier behind them as far as AFC contention is concerned. And I won't put them full tier, just a half tier behind them, in my personal opinion, is the fact that they also have guys that elevate the rest of their roster too. So it's not like, hey, you can at least go with the quarterback advantage there because any one of these three can go toe to toe with each other in any game, as far as that is concerned. So I think the Bills, as a hot take, have fallen just a half tier behind both the Chiefs and the Ravens. Now, will that be reflected in the record? We'll ultimately see. With that being said, let's get to my predictions. So, as far as my bold prediction is concerned, it does go back to what's got me excited. I think that Landon Jackson will end up playing opposite of Gregory Rousseau this season, and he'll have 5+ sacks as a rookie as well. I think they'll be well earned, and I think he will step up into that role. I really like what he brings to the table from a motor, from a power perspective. He understands how to use his hands as well, and good aggressive run. So it'll get him on the field, in my personal opinion. And I don't necessarily buy the Joey Bosa kind of prove it deal end up working out, but that being said, as far as the record prediction, 12-5, top of the AFC East. I don't think anything will change. This continues to be the Bills' division for rightful reasons. They own it, and they deserve to. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming by to my Bills 2025 NFL season preview. Make sure you guys like this video, like the other videos on the channel. Subscribe here at DMW Sports, where we're at on Twitter and TikTok, also at the same name, and then at Sports DMW on Instagram. Appreciate you guys so much.